egg. I was writing an article for Slash Gear the other day about brake pads and realized I couldn't remember the last time I did the brakes on the Fiesta. What I do remember about the last time I did the brakes on the Fiesta though is that it spit pad material off the backing plate. So I replaced them and then again replaced them in Kansas City, I believe, with like Duralast pads on the already destroyed rotors. If I had to guess, I would say that was probably like 65 or 70,000 miles ago. So it's time for an oil change anyway. I'm gonna do the brakes as well. I have a bit of a bone to pick with Rock Auto though. Rock Auto does have all the parts your car will ever need, but they also have all the warehouses one company could ever need. So if you strategically pick all of the cheapest parts or all of this or all of that, specifically what you want. And yes, it is a full disclosure that I put cheap parts on this car. I don't care. I actually did get some performance-ish front brake pads, but yeah, for the fact that it's mostly driven on the highway and never really driven like an ST is supposed to be, or like how the 17-year-olds that own them think they should be driven. The brakes aren't that important. Plus, I used to buy Hawk HPS 3.0, 2.0 pads. I don't remember. 2 different times on those really expensive brake pads I had the pad material break off the back plate. So I'm kind of over it. The car mostly gets used for road trips and deliveries. So anyway, I couldn't select all of the parts that I wanted without having like a $90 shipping charge because it was coming from 4 different warehouses. So I finally worked it out of the cheapest option to get some semi-performance pads on top of having to only ship from only two warehouses and pay for shipping from 2 different warehouses. So why, Rock Auto, early the very next day after ordering these parts, did they come from the exact same warehouse and get delivered at the exact same time on the exact same FedEx truck? Are you telling me that somebody brought the parts from the other warehouse to one and I paid for that as part of the shipping, that they have it delivered to a different warehouse and then the shipping to my house was the second shipping charge? Or does Rock Auto just kind of have a bit of a bonus income strategy going? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It was still cheaper than going to a parts store and buying it, and certainly a lot cheaper than getting Ford Motorcraft OEM stuff. I can't remember, but this is probably the 6th or 7th time I've put new brakes on the Fiesta, and God knows how many oil changes. This is the oil change for 215,000 miles. Somebody asked in the comments of our previous video if I'd had the timing belt done. No, I had an interesting thought about that for a long time, in that you could just buy a whole new Fiesta ST engine for cheaper than having a dealership do the timing belt, and the time it takes to swap the whole engine is like 1/3 of the time it takes to do the timing belt on one of these cars. And 16-year-olds were putting them in ditches every 3 days, so there was $1,400 engines with 12 or 13,000 miles on them. 30,000, 40,000, doesn't matter. Really low mileage engines for super cheap. Doesn't really happen anymore. Engines are just kind of expensive. We're up in the fence about whether or not we're gonna get the timing belt done. I'd kind of like to pull the cover off and take a look at it and see how it's doing in there, see if it's starting to get any cracks or anything, but I do know of at least 3 Fiesta STs that went to at least 300,000 miles on all original equipment. Yeah, and basically this car owes me nothing at this point. I've had it for almost 5 years now, and between deliveries and this channel and my rocket channel and all the road trips and everything else this car has been through, I definitely can say I've gotten way more than my money's worth out of it. I'm not hoping for it to blow up, but at a certain point, I am expecting it to start having some severe issues. That's not the problem today. Today, we're doing brakes. But first, oil change. 215,000 miles on the ST. And it's certainly showing them. Although, admittedly, where it is showing the mileage, totally my fault. I do have mechanical sympathy for this car, but that's about all the sympathy it gets. This thing is kind of demolished. But I'm planning on doing something about that. Since I got a bill of good health from Blackstone Labs on the engine, I'd like to do some improvements and sort of, we'll call restorations, which is kind of a stupid thing to have to restore a car that you've pretty much been the only owner of. But yeah, such is life. We'll get to that later. Let's change the oil first. First, take a look at this dirty engine bay. Yikes. Yikes. The cover's nice and clean. I bought this absorbent oil mat on Amazon and it is phenomenal. Highly recommended. Don't drop the drain plug in the oil. Okay, you guys are gonna be my witnesses. Ready? We're tightening this. So later, when I go, should I pour oil in there? Is that tightened? I don't have to lay on the ground again. But the filter is the worst part of doing this oil change by far and away. I'll show you why in a second. I'm gonna have to use both hands, I think. Ooh, it really doesn't want none. Extremely difficult to get a strap wrench on it, too. So you kind of just gotta deal with this every time. There it goes. Alright, get ready for the mess. Yeah. I have learned a little patience with this, and that if I let all the oil drip out of the filter first, then I have a lot less chances of devastating oil coverage. Okay, so the oil filter sits facing forward on this oil cooler, right? So, because it's perpendicular to the direction that the car travels, I guess, it's facing straight forward. So when you take the filter off, there's no way to not get oil everywhere. This is actually a really clean pull. I've had some times where it gets flowy off those hoses for the coolant lines and goes all over the oil pan and God knows what else. So every time I change the oil, I basically unload a whole can of brake clean down here once I put the new filter on. You know what time it is? Yeah. Drink up. Oh, I spilled. If you're watching this, press the like button. 150 likes, this car gets a detail. I'm talking engine bay, interior, cut and bust so we can see how bad the paint is. And we'll do a whole video with my detailer friend trashing me for how poorly I have treated this car. Aesthetically. Engine, I love you. I love you. Transmission, I love you too. Still going. Yes, there's jack stands under there. You saw me put them there, but I also leave the jack under it anytime I'm going under the car. I don't fuck with that. Anyway, on to the fun part. Oh man, look at the ridge. Wow. The fact that this car still stopped pretty good is crazy. The plot thickens on my conspiracy theory because it was cheaper to buy the rear pads and rotors as a set, right? They were supposed to come from one different location as a set, and then the rotors and front pads, the front rotors and front pads are supposed to be coming from a different warehouse. When I opened it, the front rotors are here with the rear brake pads, and the rear rotors are here with the front brake pads. All of this was allegedly at different warehouses. I got charged for shipping twice. What's happening here? Also, they're an hour away from me in San Bernardino. I would have just driven down there. This is awesome. I got a good deal on this one because it was like repackaged for an OEM or a different brand or something, and it was just a leftover one. So I got this brand new rotor for like 10 bucks. Look how they packaged this. It's like how I wrap a Christmas present. There's a whole roll of packaging tape on this bitch. The reason, before I do anything else, so I'm going to check and make sure it's the same size as that old rotor there, is because one time I got sent the front rotors for a base model Fiesta, which are about an inch smaller in diameter. So we're going to make sure we have the right rotors, and as long as we do, I'm going to spray them down with brake clean, and we're going to just start reversing this process. Oh my god. It's worse than I thought. There was one front rotor and one rear rotor in this box. So there better be one of each in this box too, or I'm gonna have a serious problem. Well, it was the right one. My god, what's going on over there at Rock Auto? All this turmoil for Stan's Scout, International Scout. Get bent, man. Those views, so I'm gonna have to film this part, but we all know how this is about to go. Oh, this one sucks so hard. What the hell? Dude, what the f— Yeah, drink up. God. I'd like to extend an apology to Rock Auto. I didn't notice that they had sent me Rich's Ford Fairlane? Falcon? I think that's a Fairlane. So, fair. That was worth the extra $20 in shipping for my stuff to come from the same place. Totally. Alright, I'm always paranoid about oil changes, so I'm going to let that idle in the driveway while I clean everything up and make sure that no oil comes out of it. The ghetto bird is here and the GoPro is dead. That's my cue to close my garage door and go bed in these brakes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Braden Carlson. Yeah, check me out on Slash Gear. Some articles I'm writing should be on Motor Trend as well soon. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really means a lot that a key group of several hundred of you are still routinely here. So don't forget to press the like button if we get 150 likes. Fiesta ST is getting a detail. I'm gonna go recycle some oil, bed in these brakes, and maybe grab a beer. That last piston was a little annoying. I'll see you guys next time. Oh wait, actually, I'm bringing car of the video back. If you want your car featured at the end of the video, send a picture of it to me at curseriverhelp@gmail.com. This car belongs to Alex Gaines. This email is from like 2021. Sick. All right, we'll see you guys next time.